သာသနာတော်နှစ်2565နှစ်မြန်မာတက္ကရာ1383ခုနှစ်ခရစ်နှစ်9ရက်တလ2020နှစ်တောက်ကြနေ့ရန်ကုန်တိုင်းဒဂုံမြို့သစ်တောင်ပိုင်းမြို့နယ်အမှတ်104ရပ်ကွက်ရွှေဝဝင်းကျောင်းမဂုတ်ပဒနာဓမ္မရိပ်သာကြီးအတွင်ဆင်ရင်ကျင်းပပြုလုပ်အပ်သည့်ပရိစ္ဆသမုပ္ပါအင်္ဂလိပ်မြန်မာသင်တန်းပွဲတော်ကြီးတွင်ကြွရောက်တော်မူလာကြကုန်သောဆရာတော်တန်ဃာတော်ရှင်သူမြတ်တို့နှင့်ယောဂီပေါင်းသူတော်ကောင်းတို့အားကျေးဇူးပြုပေးသွားမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်။သင်္นานမစခင်တရားပိုင်းရှင်ဖြစ်တော်မူသောသုံးလောကထွဋ္ဌာသဗ္ဗညုမြတ်စွာဘုရားရှင်ကိုရောမြတ်ကြီးအားနမောတတသုံးချိန်ရွတ်ဆို၍ဘုရားရှိခိုးပူဇော်ကြောကြပါကုန်စို့။နမောတတဘဂဝတောအရဟတောသမ္မာသမ္ဗုဒ္ဓတ္တနမောတတ္တဘဂဝတောအရဟတောသမ္မာသမ္ဗုဒ္ဓတ္တနမောတတ္တဘဂဝတောအရဟတောသမ္မာသမ္ဗုဒ္ဓတ္တOkay, today what I'm going to talk about is dependent origination. Talking about dependent origination, it is not complete without 12 factors. It is a must. As 10 and 12 factors, we cannot explain dependent origination to understand very clearly. So, 12 factors are mainly important. That's why we are explaining 12 factors one by one, step by step. When we explain 12 factors, basically, the main point only we are discussing, main point, especially main point only, not in detail, without story explanation, without example, really basic point only. We are discussing main point only, really basic point only. To understand dependent origination, these are really essential not only for the meditators but also meditation masters. Meditation without 12 factors. It is a must. So we are studying 12 factors one by one. When we study 12 factors, we think we have already finished. We can see we have already finished 12 factors. Almost every factors, I hope all of you understand basically. So we can explain diagram also. We can explain diagram. Before we explain this diagram of dependent origination, the remaining factors are Karma Bhava, Jati, Jara, Marana. Karma Bhava, Jati, Jara, Marana. Yesterday, we had already explained Tanha, Upadana. We have already explained. Today, I'm going to explain a little bit of Karma Bhava and Jati, Jara, Marana. Karma Bhava. Karma Bhava means Karma Bhava. Here in Samyutta Nikaya, according to the Samyutta Nikaya, Vibhanga Sutta of Samyutta Nikaya. Samyutta Nikaya means connected discourses. Connected discourses. According to connected discourses, Samyutta Nikaya, I have already posted Vibhanga Sutta of Samyutta Nikaya, analysis of dependent origination. Analysis of dependent origination, that is according to the, that is Sutta Pitaka, Sottanta Pitaka. According to the Sottanta Pitaka, we have to understand. Buddha preached sometime in the Abhidhamma, Paticca Samuppada Vibhanga, Paticca Samuppada Vibhanga, analysis of dependent origination and Abhidhamma. When we study Abhidhamma, it is more completed than Samyutta Nikaya. In the Samyutta Nikaya, there is very little definition, explanation, and Abhidhamma. It is in detail. In the Abhidhamma, it is explaining in detail. So, for the Buddhist minds, we have to study Abhidhamma. If we study Abhidhamma, it is complete. It is completed. And the Abhidhamma also, all of explanation and all of definitions are included in the Abhidhamma. So today I want to explain sometimes translations are different. According to the Abhidhamma Pitaka, Karma Bhava means becoming. Karma Bhava. Actually, this is a Bhava, not Karma Bhava. Upadana Paccaya Bhava. That's why this is a Bhava. According to the 12 factors, Upadana Paccaya Bhava. That's why this is a Bhava. To translate this Bhava into English, sometimes you may see this is becoming. This is becoming. Bhava means becoming. When we translate this Bhava into English, Bhava means becoming. This is really basic meaning. This is really basic meaning. Bhava means becoming. Becoming is a really basic meaning. This is a really main point. Bhava means becoming. That is better existence. But someone translate bhava as existence. Actually, existing and becoming, for me, becoming is better, but we can use both of them. We have to understand both of them. Bhava, me, here, according to the Samyutta Nikaya, translator, author, I don't know exactly who is this author. Who is this author? I don't. Tanesaro Bhikkhu or someone, and I forget this authors. He translated as existence. Translating as existence is also very easy to understand. That is also right, not wrong. But we have to know, sometimes we have to understand existence. Sometimes we have to understand becoming. Becoming, existing. Here in this suttas, today I'm explaining as existence. I'm trying to explain as existence. Existence. What is bhava? What is bhava? The meaning of bhava. What is the meaning of bhava? The meaning of bhava means existence. Existence. We have to understand existence. So existence in Pali word, bhava means kama bhava, rupa bhava, arupa bhava, like that. Kama bhava, rupa bhava, arupa bhava, we have already understood. We have already understood, very familiar with us. This is not very difficult for us, not for meditators. For meditators, this is a difficult thing, very difficult to understand. For the Buddhist monks, this is very easy way. Bhava means kama bhava, rupa bhava, arupa bhava. What is the meaning of bhava? Bhava means existence. Existing. Three classes of existence. Of existence. There are these three kinds of existence we have to understand. Three kinds of existence. Three kinds of existence. Sense sphere existence, form sphere existence, formless sphere existence. Sense sphere existence, form sphere existence, formless sphere existence. Kama bhava, sense sphere existence. Kama bhava. Rupa bhava, form sphere existence. Arupa bhava, formless sphere existence. Formless sphere existence. Sense sphere, form sphere, formless spheres. There are three kinds of existence. Bhava means existence. How many existences are there according to the Samyutta Nikaya? According to the Buddha's teaching, according to the Samyutta Nikaya, Vibhanga Sutta, there are three kinds of existence. Sense sphere existence, form sphere existence, and formless sphere existence. Bhava means existence. If we understand bhava means existence, this is enough for this suttas, Vibhanga suttas of Samyutta Nikaya. This is a really essential point. This is enough for these factors, bhavas, so-called bhava. These factors, we understand three kinds of existence. If we understand three kinds of existence, it is enough for these factors. This is really important. This is really main point. Basic information we have to understand. Okay, this is existence, bhava. And again, bhava, visaya, sadi, bhava, pachaya, jadi. Jadi means path only. Jadi means birth. If you understand birth as jadi, it is enough. We have already understood in Burmese language. In English, birth is enough. But according to this Samyutta Nikaya, according to the Buddha's teaching, birth definitions are many. The birth of the various beings into the various orders of being, they are being born, descend into the womb, production, the manifestation of the aggregates, the obtaining of the sense basis. This is called birth. This is called birth. In Pali word, jadi, sanjadi, augandi, nebadi, abhinebadi, khandanam, khandanam, pati and khandanam padu bhavo, ayadanam pati labho, something like that. Sadi, tensadi, augandi, nebadi, abhinebadi, khandanam, padu bhavo, ayadanam pati labho. Many definition of birth, many definition of jadi. But if we want, we can study, but I don't want to explain all of this meaning. And for general knowledge, you can study and for yourself. This is a birth. If you understand jadi as birth, that is enough. Jadi means birth. The birth of the various being into the various orders of being, they are being born, descend into the womb, production, the manifestation of aggregates. The manifestation of aggregates. Khandanam padu bhavo. Khandanam padu bhavo. The manifestation of the aggregates. Ayadanam pati labho. The obtaining of the sense basis. Ayadanam pati labho. So we can study as much as we can according to the Buddha's teaching. I hope this is enough for birth, jadi. Jaramarana, jaramarana. What is the meaning of jaramarana? Aging and death. Jaramarana, aging and death. Old age and death. Sometimes you may see old age and death, aging and death. You can choose as you like. Some scholar translated as aging and death, sometime old age and death. You can use as you please. The meaning of jaramarana, the definition of the jaramarana, the agent of the various being and the various orders of being. Jara, they're growing old. They're growing old. Brokenness of teeth, grayness of hair, wrinkling of skin, wrinkling of skin, decline of the vitality, determination of the faculties, degeneration of the faculties, degeneration of the faculties, faculties, indriya, degeneration of the faculties, degeneration of the faculties. This is called aging. The passing away of the various beings from the various orders of being, their perishing, break up, disappearance, mortality, death, completion of time, breaking up of aggregates, the lying down of the carcass. This is called death. Thus, this aging and death are together called aging and death. These definitions are many. If you want, you can study yourself in this connection, in this course. I like to use aging and death only. Aging and death. Jara-marana, aging and death. That is enough for this course. Aging and death is enough. Jati means birth, Jara means aging and death, old age and death. We may study more and more definitions are many according to the Buddha's teaching, many definitions. Many definitions. You can study yourself. Sati means birth, Sara means aging and death. In that case, we have already completed 12 factors. 12 factors. Avijja, Sankhara, Vijnana, Namarupa, Salayana, Phassa, Vedana, Tanha, Upadana, Kama Bhava, Tanha, Upadana, Bhava, Jati, Jara-marana. These are called 12 factors. 12 factors. When you understand 12 factors, we can explain diagram. We can explain diagram. If you understand 12 factors, we can study diagram, how they are linking each others, how they are relating each others. We can study. Okay, to study these diagrams, according to this diagram of dependent origination, according to the Mogusaro's method, you may understand. You may understand. I hope we may study diagram of dependent origination diagram. I hope you are able to see diagram. Okay. Venerables, reverence. I like to try to explain according to diagram. According to diagram. And Zawgyi Unicode, Zawgyi Unicode, yala. Zawgyi Shin, nene chila no. Zawgyi Tigatha. Zodika, could you see diagram? Oh, di majar me hoa mo bawa. Dia wala. Oh, yang ya, ya boy ya. Ah, okay. Oh, you. Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, I cannot see that.
You cannot see, no? And live, you can see, yeah, live. Okay, I'm trying to change. Could you see diagram?
Yeah, I could see it, right? It's
But-
a little far, it's not.
Not so clear. Not so clear. No?
Yes.
Man, as when Zawgyi will never follow it. Zawgyi will change it. Zawgyi will take a change. No?
Yes.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Zawgyi will take a change. Don't Zawgyi will follow it.
This English diagram of Myanmar type.
Yes, this is English.
English version.
Yeah, then Zawgyi will be you, no? For counseling, do you do debate on the counseling? Lighten, more lighten. No? Too much lighten. You cannot see clearly, no?
I cannot see clear, only enlightened. I cannot see it more. It depends on your mind. That's was.
Oh. How about this one? Can you see?
No, see, no clearly.
Not clearly, no?
Yes. It gives me a little light.
Ah, okay.
On the left, on the left.
Okay, it doesn't matter. According to the diagram, you cannot see very clearly. So, I'm trying to explain it without diagram. And next week, I will try to explain by using this diagram. Okay. Okay, whatever it is, we are explaining 12 factors. We have to conclude 12 factors. 12 factors. And next week, we like to trying to explain diagram according to the Mogusara's method, how they are linking each other's 12 factors are 12 factors, how they are working and how they are relating to each other's. We have to study diagram of dependent origination. In that case, we like to review 12 factors one by one. 12 factors. We like to review 12 factors. We like to reflect. No? We like to make polish. No? Among the 12 factors, the first one, avijja. According to the Samyutta Nikaya, avijja means ignorance. What is the meaning of avijja? What is ignorance? We have to study. Ignorance means not knowing. Ignorance means not knowing. Not knowing means not knowing suffering, not knowing the origin of suffering, not knowing the cessation of suffering, not knowing the way leading to the cessation of suffering. This is called ignorance. This is called ignorance. Avijja means ignorance. Ignorance means not knowing. Not knowing suffering, not knowing the origin of suffering, not knowing the cessation of suffering, not knowing the way leading to the cessation of suffering. That is called ignorance. We have to understand, according to the Samyutta Nikaya, according to the Sutta Pitaka, avijja means not knowing the Four Noble Truths. Not knowing the Four Noble Truths is called avijja. That is called ignorance. Ignorance. Ignorance means not knowing the Four Noble Truths. What are the Four Noble Truths? The Four Noble Truths means Noble Truth of suffering, Noble Truth of the origin of suffering, Noble Truth of the cessation of suffering, Noble Truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Not knowing the Noble Truth of suffering, not knowing the Noble Truth of the origin of suffering, not knowing the Noble Truth of the cessation of suffering, not knowing the Noble Truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Suffering, the origin of suffering, cessation of suffering, the way leading to the cessation of suffering. In brief, the first one is suffering. The second one is the origin of suffering. The third one, the cessation of suffering. The fourth one, the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Suffering, the origin of suffering, cessation of suffering, the way leading to the cessation of suffering. The Four Noble Truths. Briefly, when you study the Four Noble Truths, suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Dukkha, Dhammudiya, Nirodha, Magga. Dukkha means suffering. Dhammudiya means the origin of suffering. The origin of suffering, that is Dhammudiya. Nirodha, cessation of suffering. Cessation of suffering. Cessation of suffering, stopping of suffering. You have to understand. Mega. Mega means the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Leading to the cessation of suffering. The way leading to the cessation of suffering. So, to understand ignorance, we have to understand the Four Noble Truth. If we understand the Four Noble Truth, we can explain ignorance, avijja. Without understanding the Four Noble Truth, we cannot explain the ignorance, avijja. So, the first factors, one of factors among the 12 factors, the first one is avijja. Avijja means ignorance. Ignorance means not knowing the Four Noble Truths. That is called ignorance. Not knowing the Four Noble Truths is called ignorance. Not knowing suffering, not knowing the origin of suffering, not knowing cessation of suffering, not knowing the way leading to the cessation of suffering. That is called ignorance. Okay, I hope you understand ignorance. Among the 12 factors, you understand the first one. Okay. Are there anyone who want to discuss? Who want to reflect? Who want to review? Please tell me about ignorance, about avijja. Avijja means this is international pronunciation. Our pronunciation, Burmese pronunciation is avijja. Avijja, our pronunciation is avijja. Avijja. But except from Myanmar, the whole universe and other country, other foreigners, they pronounce avijja. Avijja. Okay, Venerable Narada, okay, please tell me what you understand.
Yes, very well. So, as much as I know, the organization, the first factor, and now I will explain it. First one, it is avijja.
Yes.
In English is ignorance.
Yes, okay.
Avijja means not knowing anything.
Yes.
So, first, four kinds of noble truths.
Yes.
Not knowing. So they are suffering, origin of suffering,
Yes.
cessation of suffering, the way leading to cessation of suffering. This is the four kinds of noble truth.
Yes, according to the Samyutta Nikaya, if you understand the Four Noble Truths, it is enough. It's enough. Yeah. Yes.
Another way is avijja means not knowing. So eight factor. They are so four noble truths and
Yes.
start our life, ending our life.
Yes.
Not knowing, start and ending our life and not knowing divine origination.
Yes.
Together is eight.
Yes. Altogether 8 objects. Yes. 8 kinds.
Yes, that's all.
Yes. You are more than me, no? You understand more than me, no?
Yes.
According to this Samyutta Nikaya, if you understand four kinds, it is enough. You understand 8 kinds. You understand more than me. That yes, this is good. And you have to understand both of them. Both of them. According to Abhidhamma Pitaka's 8 objects. According to the Sutta Pitaka, 4 objects is enough.
Yes.
Yeah, 4 is enough. Okay.
Okay, that's all, teacher.
Okay, thank you very much for your understanding.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay. Are there anyone who want to explain as much as possible, as much as you can. Please tell me, Venerable. Avesa, concerned with Avesa, okay, please, Umandala.
Very, very teacher.
Yes.
It depends on the Sayanda Nidaya. Ignore me, a becha. Becha me, no knowing.
Yes.
No knowing, the full knowledge true or sapphire. No knowing that origin was sapphire. No knowing that cessation was sapphire. No knowing the way we did the cessation was sapphire.
Yes.
Me, Sayanda Nidaya. So then I mean, a big young so then I mean, I can stop right there. The new true was sapphire, the original was sapphire, the sensation was sapphire. Sapphire did it to the sensation was sapphire. Sapphire fight aggregate. The future fight aggregate, sapphire and the future fight aggregate together. Which are this originally arise the ingredient karma and sequence. This they cannot lead to that so that
This is Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma, yes. Abhidhamma's eight objects. According to Abhidhamma's 8 objects. You explain 8 objects. Did you explain 8 objects or 4 objects? Venerable Umandala. Can you hear me?
I can hear it.
Okay. How many objects did you explain? How many objects? How many factors? No? Yes, so then yes, Samyutta Nikaya. That is only 4. No? According to the Samyutta Nikaya, according to the Sutana Pitaka, only 4. The 4 noble truth only. No? The 4 noble truth only. No knowing the 4 noble truth is according to the Samyutta Nikaya. Samyutta Nikaya. Yeah.
Not knowing the original was
Suffering, yes, okay.
Not knowing the sensation of sapphire.
Okay.
Not knowing the going into the sensation of sapphire.
Yeah, that is Samyutta Nikaya, yes.